If you're facing eviction, big help on the horizon as rent assistance is finally coming. Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update today with big, great, exciting news about rent and ownership of property, mortgages, forbearance, foreclosures, big relief coming from both political parties. Here's the breaking news. The Republicans over the weekend said yes, out of nowhere, the second stimulus package will include all of the above. It was just an incredible sigh of relief that I personally felt for the viewers of this channel. That literally came after weeks of silence from the Republicans. Now, the Democrats have proposed that for you as well. I'll get to that in a second. But we now know the Republicans are going to have it in their second stimulus package. What we don't know is where the hell is the package. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, and it is yet once again not being delivered. Now, ultimately, by the time this recording is uploaded, maybe I'll be disproven by the Republicans, but they promised to deliver you a second stimulus package Monday morning. They did not. Then they promised it Monday afternoon. They did not. Of course, as you know, they've been promising to deliver it every single day for a week and a half, literally telling you it's coming that day or that morning. They're giving you the hour it's being delivered, and it doesn't show up. But the great news is that Steve Mnuchin has said words which hopefully we can all believe, which is the second stimulus package from the Republicans will have this in it. So what's the details? Let's get right to it. Steve Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow, who are both part of a White House team, spoke on Sunday morning news talk shows and said the second stimulus package will have big assistance for people, for rent, for homes, for foreclosures, all those wonderful things. Larry Kudlow, who has a crazy title, which I never remember, from the White House, appeared on Fox and Friends, and Steve Mnuchin appeared on CNN, and they both said the same thing at literally the same time, which indicates they were told to say it, which is the second stimulus package from the Republicans will have rent assistance, mortgage forbearance, foreclosure forbearance, landlord protections, all those wonderful things. This was an incredible, incredible moment of news. It was almost as good as as Steve Mnuchin saying there will be multiple stimulus checks over the next couple of months. I mean, this is as almost as exciting as that. And what does this mean? So let me go over these words, because sometimes these words are a little bit confusing. Rent moratorium or rent eviction moratorium means that landlords cannot evict you during the pandemic. They can't kick you out of your home, out of your apartment during the pandemic. So if you can't make rent, if these rules pass, the landlord can't come knocking on your door and kick you out and evict you because you can't make rent on your apartment. That's what rent eviction moratorium is. The next one is mortgage forbearance, or foreclosure forbearance, which means that a bank cannot foreclose on your property if you can't make the mortgage. It protects homeowners who can't make their mortgage because of the pandemic. It protects property owners who, let's say, own an apartment building, can't pay their bills, can't pay their mortgage. It protects them from losing their building to foreclosure. So a lot of people ask me, LALATE, hey, are you talking? What about I own my home? Am I protected? Yes. I own my apartment building. Am I protected? Yes. Lots of protection in these proposals, both the Republican and the Democrat. The thing that is just very disconcerting is where's the darn bill? It's Monday afternoon and we don't see the bill. What's important about seeing the bill is the following. There's more to rent assistance than just the protection. There's also the grant money. And the grant money takes two forms. The Democrats have proposed grant money in two forms. And we sort of know the Republicans want one of them, but we don't know about the other one. The first one that both parties seem to propose to want to have is where Congress delegates funds to states, which then can delegate those funds to the citizens of their states who need help with rent. how does this work? It's currently working under the first stimulus package. So, for example, in New York is currently dispersing money to its citizens who can't make rent, and that money was given to the state of New York under the first stimulus package. This is great news. The second stimulus package will do the same thing. We already have seen enough indication from the Republicans that they're going to delegate millions and millions of dollars to each state to delegate that out to their citizens for rent assistance, and the Democrats want to do as well. But there's a separate part when we're talking about rent help, and that's actually money that comes directly to you as the renter from the federal government. This is what we call rent grants. It's different than when you go to the state and you get the money from the state and the state got the money from the federal government. This is different. This is where you actually apply to the federal government and get help with your rent. How does this work? Under the Democrats, it's proposed as a fund given to HUD. Under the second stimulus package, there would be money given to HUD. HUD would create a fund, and as a tenant of an apartment building, you can't make rent. You would apply to HUD, list your employer, say, I can't make rent because of the COVID-19. I made this amount of money in 2019. Please pay my landlord my rent because I can't make the rent. And so the bill would propose that the funds are dispersed to the landlord for those incredible benefits. It would also do the same for utilities. So you would say, hey, I can't make gas. Here's my gas company. I can't make electricity. Here's my electric company. And the funds would be dispersed from HUD to the electricity companies as well, or whatever type of utility companies you have. That's incredible. The problem is we haven't heard those exact words from any Republican yet. We've heard about eviction moratoriums and mortgage forbearance protections, but we haven't heard about grant money. And that is what's very, very discouraging. The other thing that I really think is really quite fascinating, and no one really touches on this except me, is that, and I didn't realize it as well until just 2 days ago when I recorded Saturday's video, is Kamala Harris, who's the senator out of California, feels that landlords will not follow any of these rules. And she wants to create an additional body to enforce these eviction moratorium rules, these mortgage forbearance rules. She wants protection for people who are who are victimized by landlords or banks that don't follow the rules and protections. And she wants funds for people to be protected for a defense fund, and she also wants to prosecute those landlords if they don't follow the rules, which is really quite great. And I guess she apparently thinks that the situation could go off the tracks, and we need protections for that. That's what's wonderful. But then there's the Republicans. What's not wonderful is we don't have their darn bill. So as we sit here today, we know fundamentally that they want to give you protections for eviction and foreclosures, but we don't know if they want to give you grant money. We don't know if they want to provide those grant funds into 2021. And a lot of viewers keep on saying, hey, LALATE, I see that Donald Trump doesn't want to even give me $2,000 stimulus check, so he's not going to give me hazard pay, he's not going to give me rent assistance, he's just not going to give me anything because he doesn't want to even give me $2,000 stimulus check. I want you to just throw that topic out the window because these are coming from different bodies of funds. The stimulus check is one body of funds. The rent assistance is a separate body of funds. And so it's just like the funds where someone's asking for a new federal building. Yeah. They're all different pots of funds, but they go in the second stimulus package. So if you're watching this video and you are unable to make rent, what should you know and what timelines should you be focused on? This is what you have to remember. One, the program is not being passed this week. So if you're having a problem this week, it's not being passed this week. We have this week and next week for the bills, for the second stimulus package to be approved by act of Congress. We literally have less than 2 weeks. So we would likely see the bill passed around August 8th or August 9th or August 10th. It's unclear how soon grant money could get out to people. But this is so important. So I want you to get a pen and paper and write this down right now. If the bill is passed on August 8th or August 9th, the second stimulus package, then it will likely by law say you cannot evict a person starting today going forward. How important is this? This is so critical, so you absolutely need to understand this. And I don't think anyone's going to explain this to you as clearly as I can. If you have been served with an eviction and it's just sort of starting right now, and you're worried you're about to go on the street, the law could be passed on August 9th and says, hold up, no no evictions until 2021. It would literally stop what you're facing that minute. So it's very, very important for you to follow me on these eviction moratorium, on these eviction stories. Every day our rent stories are the 5th video of the day. If you're having rent problems, watch my videos, because the timing of the approval of an eviction bill could ultimately stop that minute any eviction that you're facing. And really, and you would keep your home. The same thing for if you're a homeowner and you're facing foreclosure and you're about to be foreclosed on, in the next 2 weeks. If the bill is passed next week, it would stop it, literally like stop it in the tracks that day. This is why it's so critical to really stay on top of these stories, and that's why I'm doing these stories, every single day for you. That is something so critical and is different than the grant money. So the grant money is something that would take time. It's going to take a while after August 8th or 9th or 10th to get you the money. And that we all understand, but I want you to understand whether or not you're going to be evicted. Finally, if you have been evicted, I'm sorry. Congress is really not grasping the severity of the situation. They're too late to the table, both Republicans and Democrats, and they don't understand that people are losing their homes, and that losing your home during a COVID-19 situation is not something you should do. These are families. They're being thrown out on the streets, and even Chuck Schumer on Friday said people are facing evictions, and this needs to be done right away. Yeah, Chuck, but also people have been evicted. And what did you do to protect them while they're being evicted? Nothing. The White House could have done an emergency order, executive order, to stop evictions immediately. He did not. The Federal Reserve could have allocated billions of dollars, which they have allocated for COVID-19 relief as of May, and have never dispersed a single penny. They really piss me off in this equation. They really do. The Federal Reserve has all these funds they allocated for COVID-19, and they've not spent the money. So there's all these groups that could have done things for you over the last few weeks. And so if you've been evicted, if you have been evicted, I keep on messing up that word, evicted, I'm sorry. If you are facing eviction, stay positive now, because by the time your matter progresses, you might be able to keep your home or place of dwelling. Really, really exciting news. Ultimately, what I want you to be informed about as well is grant programs that are available in your city, state, or county. Over the last week, we have detailed the enormous number of grants that are available, whether you're in Los Angeles or New York, major cities, small cities, Texas. Kevin Lee was one of the ones that I keep on detailing, and he updated a great comment just an hour or two ago. I saw it. I've detailed Kevin Lee. He is a viewer who was facing eviction in his state of Texas. He saw in his local news a great grant program, applied for that grant program, got approved, did not see it coming, got approved, tried to apply it to where he was living. It didn't qualify, so he then moved to a new place, and it's applying apparently to his new place. I think he said he has 3 months of rent that is now paid for. Really, really great news. But I want to inform you, he's been doing this for several weeks. He didn't just get on the ball today. It's never too late, and so get yourself informed. I'm here to help you. It's a big path. And if I've always said, and I'll say it again today, if you don't have Wi-Fi, if you don't have a computer, if you don't have internet access, and want to know if there is grant money for where you live for rent, extra help, and don't have the ability to look it up because you don't have a computer or don't have Wi-Fi, don't have internet access, drop a comment. And maybe someone else in this channel, because a lot of people have so far, help you. And say, I looked this up for you. I found this. Here you go. That's the spirit of this channel, helping one another. Ultimately, if we help one another going through this pandemic, we'll get through it together better, faster, and stronger on the other end. As always, stay motivated, stay positive, stay focused, stay informed, stay smiling as possible, stay laughing, whether it's a bad scarf or someone answering the phone in Mitch McConnell's office, and stay with LA for more.